So here we are back with 5-Star Wrestling, and we are about ready for our next contest. And here he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed this match has the rules changed. It will now be a singles match set for one fall. Introducing first, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring from San Diego, California, he is the master of the 619. This is Rey Mysterio.
And Greg, here comes the master of the 619, one of the biggest, most relevant stars in professional wrestling today, and quite frankly, of all time. But did you hear, Greg, there's been a change in circumstance.
It just happened in the commercial break. We got the whisper in the ear that this match is now non-title. We are trying to get a little bit more information as to why that is the case, but it will be Mark Haskins versus Rey Mysterio, but the Tap or Snap Championship is now not on the line.
That's right, folks. We will bring you the information as and when we get it. But it's an interesting change in circumstance. Now, this completely changes the complexion of the matchup. As we were talking about, Mark Haskins is a submission specialist, and that was basically the only key to victory, is to make your opponent tap or snap. Whereas now, we're talking about a straight singles matchup, which surely tilts it back in the favor of Rey Mysterio.
And his opponent,
so here he is, the man who beat 4 other men to win that championship last week in Liverpool. The Oxfordshire Outlaw, the star attraction, Mark Haskins. And what a match this is in his career.
ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, he is the Tap or Snap champion. This is Mark Haskins.
Now, I've been lucky enough to get to know Mark Haskins on a personal level recently. We went on a tour to Canada together, and I'll tell you now, I can guarantee this change in circumstance is not going to be something that he's happy about, whereas a lot of people who take the sort of any means necessary approach to picking up victories would appreciate this set of circumstances where he's not going to lose the belt. I can guarantee you Mark Haskins is a man of integrity and would rather defend the title against the master of the 619.
So we're going to try and get you the news story there on why this match is now non-title. Really interesting development here at 5-Star Wrestling Live on Free Sports. And you have to wonder who made that decision. We will find out. There's no doubt about it. It's an interesting development. But it also means that is there a bit less pressure on Mark Haskins going into this match against such a huge name opponent?
Well, as I said, this can really throw a spanner in the works because he's been preparing for a submission-based outcome. So that completely changes the training and the preparation, which you can never take lightly against, one of the best ever, really, in Rey Mysterio. And now the rules have been changed completely, well, let's be honest, in the favor of Rey Mysterio, because Rey Mysterio isn't known as a submission specialist. So now it's going to be a much more favorable situation for Rey Mysterio.
It certainly is going to be a more favourable situation for Rey Mysterio. That's what I find interesting.
But Mark Haskins straight away going for the armbar there, perhaps making a statement. Very aggressive, isolating the arm there, perhaps sending a message to management that he wants to put the title on the line. And in his mind, it's a tap or snap finish anyway.
Well, it would have benefited Haskins if it was a submission match.
Absolutely.
There's no two ways about it. I can't imagine the decision to make this match non-title was anything to do with the Tap or Snap champion. But, we don't know what happened, so we probably best concentrate on the match, which is in progress, because it's still, whether the rules are you win by submission or whether the rules are you can win by pinfall, submission, count out or disqualification, which is now what the case is. It's still a dream match for a lot of die-hard wrestling fans around the world. Haskins is one of the most naturally gifted performers in the UK, and Mysterio, well, Joe, he's Mysterio.
Absolutely. I mean, when you say about Haskins, he's extremely technically proficient. I mean, you just look, there's a real beauty about his offensive maneuvers, and again, it's between these two. I just can't keep up with the action. I mean, it's impossible to call, Greg, because they're both going for these maneuvers at lightning speed, and they're just the calculations they're able to make in their brain at this rate of pace is unbelievable. Setting up for the 619, Haskins gets out the way, using his surroundings to his advantage there. However, never take your eyes off Rey Mysterio as he darts back in the ring and hits the master of the 619 with a huge forearm.
Indeed. Mysterio, on a rare occasion here, is in the ring with someone maybe just as nimble as he is. Haskins so quick on his feet, so smooth with his movement, and Mysterio stunned and perhaps slightly thrown off his game.
And perhaps it's specifically because, I don't know if you noticed that, Greg, but from Mark Haskins there, that was almost an inverted 619. I'm going to call it the 916.
I'm not entirely sure what the Oxford dialing code is. I'm sure somebody will tweet us at 5-Star Wrestling and find out. Although he actually now, born in Oxford, now lives in Malvern, Worcestershire, Mark Haskins. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people from both those places.
And this is the great thing about Mark Haskins. When I was talking about there's a beauty to his technique and movement, now he's just changed gears completely and he's going straight after Rey Mysterio with a vicious boot straight to the head.
Yeah, just saying, a lot of people from Oxford and Malvern will be tuning in tonight to watch Mark Haskins in this match against the master of the 619, a former world champion, a former Rumble winner, Rey Mysterio.
And if Mark Haskins keeps delivering kicks to the head like that, this is going to be a short night indeed. Because if you take away the equilibrium of Rey Mysterio, he can't hit those precision maneuvers out of nowhere.
Mark Haskins keeping the fight outside the ring, and in a similar way to Rampage Brown and on Moose, in a similar way to Zach Gibson and Rob Van Dam earlier tonight, the fight outside the ring. And Mysterio having to keep his wits about him, having to use innovation to spin himself out of a predicament and take down Mark Haskins outside the ring.
That was a nice head scissor there to get him out of that predicament. Rey Mysterio is back on the higher ground.
Seated senton off the ring apron. Mysterio now cooking on gas. It's taken him a while to warm up. Perhaps it was the fact that this week he seems to have left his fire breathers at home, Joe.
He has, but I'll tell you what, there was still the fire there when he made the entrance. I felt the heat from here, Greg.
Here comes Mysterio. He's dialing it up, but Haskins, he took out the leg. He took out the leg. Huge kick to the side of the head by Rey Mysterio. And the crowd are getting on the case of Mark Haskins, who, you know, last week, very, very popular winner over Joey Axel. But tonight he's in against Mysterio, and let's face it, the Dalai Lama would probably be the villain against the master of the 619.
I was wondering where you were going with that, Greg, but you're right. The Dalai Lama would probably be the villain in that scenario, as much as, you know, he is a fan favorite. I mean, one thing I'm impressed with here with Mark Haskins is the aggression level that he's showing. He's just going straight after Rey Mysterio with this no-nonsense approach, just delivering damage, Greg. That's how I would say delivering damage.
Big wrist lock from the star attraction. Oh, face first, Mysterio rebounding right back into the center of the ring. Such was the impact, and referee Dave Myers so close to coming down for the 3. Just to recap, this is no longer for the Tap or Snap Championship. This is no longer submission only. This is a straight, normal rules, pinfall submission, count out disqualification to win. It is non-title.
Now, knowing Mark Haskins a little bit, I suspect, from knowing him and from looking at what I'm seeing right here, that even though this isn't Tap or Snap rules, it's not for the Tap or Snap Championship, Greg, I think he's still going to want to make a statement. I think that he's going to try and pursue the submission finish on Rey Mysterio, because what bigger way could you really make a statement in this business? Are people really going to remember whether the title was on the line if he can make Rey Mysterio tap out, or are they going to remember that here on this day in Newcastle, Mark Haskins defeated Rey Mysterio?
Or will Rey Mysterio defeat Mark Haskins? It's like last week he defeated Zach Gibson, albeit by disqualification. It is another dream match between one of the big-name international superstars and one of our very own. And Haskins is more than holding his own right now.
Absolutely, and did you see there, Greg, when he went for the cover, he had that forearm pressed right across the face of Rey Mysterio, which is just plain uncomfortable.
Huge uppercut Gets called a European uppercut. On the other side of the pond, we don't call it that here because we're already in Europe. It's an uppercut. Big reversal by Mysterio. He's only a little guy, but this guy's in such great shape at the moment. He has really got himself in shape for this 5-star Wrestling Live on Free Sports series here. I don't think I've seen him move so quickly in years, and he needs to, because Haskins has been poetry in motion so far. Oh, so fast to cut him off one more time. The speed of this man.
And let's not take away from the damage that can do. Just if you notice, I mean, that can be as much damage as a low blow. That can be pretty, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here about where that did damage to, but that's going to be pretty painful until the end of the rest of the matchup here, Greg.
Oh, he went in for a big dive in the corner, but he cracked his fist on the 5-star middle turnbuckle pad. Mysterio with a big save, seated senton off the top rope, and look how he's so quickly back into position. A big dive off the middle rope, 1-2. Haskins kicks out.
I mean, the fluidity of movement from Rey Mysterio is unbelievable. Like you say, not only has he been one of the best in the world, but he's still as good as he ever was, and he's proven it against this young talent like Mark Haskins.
Oh, that's trademark Mysterio rolling out into the kick to the head, and Haskins gets the shoulder off the mat. Last possible second. The tap or snap champion is staying in there with an all-time great, surefire future Hall of Famer.
And let's not forget, Greg, that Rey Mysterio was in the Royal Rumble a mere 2 weeks ago. As we said, that's never been done before. We've had someone have an amazing performance in the Royal Rumble and show up on British TV to wrestle immediately after. But that's what we've got here in 5-star wrestling. We've got the absolute best wrestling talent in the world, bar none.
Oh, look at the way he rolled through, and he got Haskins. He got Mysterio to his shoulder. Hits the Death Valley driver. 1-2. Oh! Mysterio kicks out. That was absolutely beautiful from Mark Haskins. The way he rolled through and he picked Mysterio up onto his shoulders in one motion and then dropped him on the masked head was absolutely fantastic.
The reason I liked it is he used momentum rather than brute strength to effectively pick his opponent up with minimal effort and deliver that move. That's a veteran move there, where you can basically pick up your opponent in that fashion without depleting the gas tank to do it. He's trying to just brutally pin down the shoulders of Rey Mysterio right now, who is quite rightly bridging up.
Oh, Mysterio's caught him.
Now this is interesting. You don't usually see Rey Mysterio go for submission moves, but this is a guillotine choke. Again, similar to what we've seen earlier in the night with the neck chokes, where basically you close the gap, but Mark Haskins has certainly opened it there, slamming him to the mat.
Oh, and he's rolled him into the snap trap. The snap trap armbar, we saw him employ this last week on Joey Axel, and then he transitioned into the sharpshooter and made the Australian tap out and became the champ.
And look at the angle on that, it's ripping tendons and ligaments. Surely Rey Mysterio has to call it a night here.
And don't forget, last week Zach Gibson was working on that arm, trying to set it up for the Shankly Gates. It may be weakened. It was a week ago, but it may be weakened. Haskins, Mysterio floats all the way around the world and hits the DDT, and he needed to.
That was a perfectly placed spike DDT there, right on Mark Haskins' head. And that's a veteran move, really, to deliver that and just cut off your opponent's momentum right there and then. Very impressive from Rey Mysterio, who's bought himself some time to get back on top.
This is an awesome match, and it's live on British television. It's Rey Mysterio versus Mark Haskins, and it is anybody's game right now. It may no longer be for the Tap or Snap Championship, but we have seen both men employ submission holds nonetheless, because a submission will very much do when it comes for getting one in the win column. And Haskins has been surprised by the fact that Mysterio was able to bring out that guillotine choke. Not something we see him employ all that often.
Here we're seeing some vicious strikes between the two competitors right now. We'll see who's going to come out on top.
Oh, big enziguri from Mysterio, and Haskins falls across the middle rope. Can Mysterio get himself back on his feet? He can, not moving quite so quickly as before, and Haskins was able to avoid. Takes Mysterio's over, transition into the sharpshooter. He's got Mysterio right in the middle of the ring. Haskins is leaning back. He's leaning back. Mysterio's back is contorted. Can Haskins make Rey Mysterio tap?
And as you see, Greg,
Mysterio back onto his back, trying to fight out of it.
It was right there in the center of the ring, but Rey Mysterio has managed to break himself free. But Mark Haskins still has a hold of it, but he's been set once again for the 619.
Mysterio's moving gingerly, but he still is the 619, and the Metro Radio Arena in Newcastle comes alive. Oh no, not Rampage Brown, not Rampage Brown.
You know, this is awful. We were talking about it was the dream match we didn't know we wanted. It was Rey Mysterio versus Mark Haskins. Okay, it wasn't for the SummerSlam Championship, but we needed to find out, Greg, who was going to win that, and Rampage Brown has just spoiled the party, and the crowd are absolutely livid right now that this dream match was, quite frankly, stolen from them. I hope we're not going to get one of those pile drivers.
Oh no, no. Rampage Brown has destroyed Moose, and he has destroyed Rey Mysterio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner via disqualification, Rey Mysterio.
I feel sorry for Mark Haskins. This is clearly, well, it appears like it's nothing to do with Haskins. He was hanging with Rey Mysterio. What a match, what a performance from the Tap or Snap champion.
I feel sorry for both, Greg, because they wanted to know. Mark Haskins
Look at that,
wants to know.
Look, sorry, Joe, to cut you off. Rampage booting Haskins in the back. This is clearly nothing to do with Haskins. This is all down to Rampage Brown or...
Greg, we need to get some order here in 5-Star Wrestling. We need to get some order here.
Or is it? Rampage Brown. We're going to go to backstage with SoCal Val as I mull this over and try and join the dots of what we've just seen.
Adam Mack said, Charlie Sterling, congratulations, you are our new 5-star tag team champions. What a night. How do you feel?
Firstly, Val, how do you feel having two of the finest specimens in professional wrestling today stood right in front of you? The new 5-star wrestling tag team champions, because we beat Ligero and Jody in Newcastle tonight.
That's right, Adam. We beat them 1, 2, 3. That's Fleisch and Ligero. Last week we beat Carlito and Masters. 1, 2, 3. That's America. That's England. You can bring Wales. You can bring Scotland. You can bring Ireland. It doesn't matter. Bring them anywhere from the UK and we'll beat them.
It's funny that you mentioned the UK because I've just been informed that next week you'll be defending these titles against the UK Hooligans.
The UK Hooligans? Yeah. They're coming to 5-star next week. And facing us for our titles? Adam, we need to leave. We need to get out of here now. Let's go. Come on, let's get out of here. Come on, let's go.
This interview's over.
Come on.
The Hooligans, Roy and Zack Knight from the Fighting Knight family, who The Rock and his movie company are making a big film about later this year. They are going to be challenging Max Money for the 5-star Tag Team Championships next week in Sheffield.
The UK Hooligans are absolutely brutal. They don't have any care for anyone's safety. They're just going to go straight after them with full violence, any means necessary. I mean, I feel sorry for the Tag Team Champions at this point.
That is going to be a fight, because the Hooligans like to fight and party and fight and party, and they're going to fight and party right the way to the Fly DSA Arena in Sheffield next week. But still later to come this evening, we've seen so much already. John Morrison defends the 5-star championship against the All-American Jake Hager.
It's a